What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz, the #1 stock trading Discord with a 95% win rate for the last 2.5 years. In today's video, we're going to talk about how the Trump State of the Union kicked ass, how KIDZ, KIDZ, popped more than 50%, becoming our 94th win against only 2 losses in the last 8 months. And with the Qs dancing north of 615, what in the world happens if Nvidia misses after the bell? All that and more coming right up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy hump day to you. It's a little after 12:30 East Coast time. And before I get into the weeds and talk about the State of the Union and what I absolutely motherfucking loved about it, what became our 94th win, and whether Nvidia misses or loses, you have a chance with my help to get rich. In fact, in honor of the 250th anniversary of this country, I am giving 50 of you a chance to get inside the #1 stock trading Discord for just $50. You're never going to have another opportunity like this. Pinned in the top comment below. It's 75% off your first month, and the second is free for less than a half of cup of coffee a day. You will see at least a dozen or 2 wins before you owe me any more money in the 3rd month. Get a Discord if you don't have a small biz. Premium if you do. Do not miss this extraordinary opportunity to get motherfucking rich with my help in the pinned comment below. All right, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, Bitcoin is now north of 68.5. If you own MicroStrategy, and I sold it the other day in the mid 130s, racked up a 35% profit, and I'm loaded to the gills in Ethereum at 1,800. Bitcoin average is 66K. We own ETHA. I gave it to you on this channel at 13 and change. Last trade, 1575. This is it. If Nvidia beats after the bell, the low of 60K in Bitcoin and all the other shit coins from where they were a week ago, that's it. The lows are in. How much is the pump going to be? I don't know the answer to that question. We'll cover that in our next video. But before I go any further, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, what'd you think of the State of the Union? I've watched at least 35 or 40. I've seen Slick Willie put my fucking ass to sleep, wondering if he was ever going to end it. I sat there and scratched my head and wondered, what in God's name did GW just say? And then, of course, the great orator, Barack Hussein Obama. And then the mystery of all mysteries. How the fuck did Joe Biden ever become president of the United States? And then, of course, the Trumpster. Not a perfect man by any stretch of the imagination. But I voted as an independent for him as 45 and the 47th president of the United States. Last night, for me, other than maybe post 9/11, because the emotions were running high, was hands down the best State of the Union I've ever seen. We have an 80-year-old man standing at the podium, full of piss and vinegar, a very optimistic, Reagan-esque type attitude right out of the gate. And what wasn't to love about the hockey team that took home gold for the first time since 1980? And don't get me started on the 200-year-old veterans. And how about the tear-jerk moments of those that have been adversely affected by illegal immigration and the lunatics they let pour across the border? And last, but certainly not least, didn't you think you were looking at a young Keanu Reeves? Everybody knew, including myself, that we didn't lose any lives in the extraction of Maduro last month. What I didn't know, perhaps along with many of you, is that we took on heavy machine gun fire. And the lead pilot that took our great warriors into battle was hit immediately in the leg 2 or 3 times. And if you know anything about that main artery, it's game over if it gashes it by too much. He turns the helicopter around to give our machine guns a chance to mow down those motherfuckers. And then, with blood gushing down the aisle, lands safely back where we started and says to the co-pilot, "You're going to need to take over now because I'm about to pass out." God bless our veterans, past, present, and future. I grew up 5 minutes from Fort Drum, New York, the 10th Mountain Division of the United States Army. I have a brother who's a Marine. We have one that just turned 56. I don't give a fuck is his username, who's also a Marine inside the Discord. How could you not stand as a Democrat? All of you, not some of you, all of you. When you saw that handsome motherfucker who had that vibe as he was leaning on that walker on behalf of everyone who was fought, and it was crystal clear to me, don't you fuck with me. Right? 6'4", 6'5", 240 pounds, if not more. Handsome as God's green earth. But he had that laser-like fucking look. Don't you fuck with me. I don't care if I'm bleeding from the leg or anywhere else. We will complete the mission. We will get everybody home safely. And when I'm about to pass out and potentially die, I'll hand over the con to the co-pilot and not a goddamn second sooner. Woo! If you're not proud, as I am, in this 250th year of our great country, if you're going to sit there and protest and heckle one of the best fucking presidents that we've ever had, as far as I'm concerned, you can go fuck yourself. I don't want any of your business. None of it. On the other hand, if you can admit the imperfections that he and any other president has carried since day one, but we have crime going down, inflation going down, the stock market going up, and virtually every other metric, including the cost of prescription drugs for our seniors going down. And don't get me started about that 100-year-old veteran. My grandfather served in the Philippines alongside that guy. And while I'm certain they weren't sharing the same exact location, when I heard he took on 163 bullets and still kept flying that fucking plane, and he's sitting there, a century old, proudly, with a smile that most of us would die for. How can you not be inspired to stand? Disagree if you must. Put forward a better plan if you got one. But if you're not excited, if you don't think this is in fact the golden age, if you don't think that the AI productivity gains, massive liquidity, an easy Fed, and a commander-in-chief who ain't going to put up with anybody's fucking bullshit, and most importantly, the warriors that he represents have that look, that laser vision, you do not fuck with me, or I'll take your ass out. God bless the United States of America. In closing, the market's telling you that Nvidia is going to meet and or beat. If she does, it'll melt the Qs into the low to mid 620s. And while I do not think we're going to new all-time highs across the board anytime soon, it is going to put a floor not only in crypto and secure that 60K low in Bitcoin, but damn near every other risk-on asset. But if they miss, we're at a minimum going to retest that 598, 600 on the Qs level of support. But something tells me that no matter what happens, when you're 440 and 21 for 20x returns in the last 2.5 years, when you're 94 and 2 for 800% since last August, and you're willing to give at least 50 more people a chance to enter Shangri-La and get motherfucking rich. No matter what happens, we're going to do just fine. And until next time, always remember that I love you, and I hope to see you join us right fucking now in the pinned comment below at trysmallbiz.com.